The Atomic Real Estate Show, bringing you the real estate of real estate. Brought to you by Danny Bennett Productions in partnership with Direct Subs.
This episode is brought to you by the Adams Group. The Adams Group is a longtime Philadelphia real estate team that helps buyers find the right home, investors find hidden opportunities, and the sellers maximize their price with their years of insight in Philadelphia and the surrounding suburbs. They've built their reputation on honest and client-forward work. You can connect with Keith Adams via phone at 215-605-1027. He's on Instagram at the Adams Group Market, and his website is adamsgroupcompass.com. Hey everyone, Ryan Dolan here with Nick Cessna, and we have Nick Fenton on today. Nick is the founder of NEF Roofing. He also works for the union, our local roofers union, 30, correct?
Correct.
In Philadelphia. He helps GCs build ground-up projects, roofing, commercial resi. So good buddy of Nick, and he also does Nick's investment properties as well, from what I know. So thanks for coming on.
Thanks
and,
for having me.
obviously, you can see the North Catholic shirt. So anytime we're in for an interesting interview when you got a North Catholic guy on.
Dirtball.
So, no, they're good people. They're like our little brothers from Rome, or older brothers from Rome, whatever. But thanks for coming on, man. We really appreciate it. Talking, we have a couple mutual friends, but I'm learning about your business, kind of what it is you do, and all about you. So please tell us a little bit about what you got going on.
So I'm the founder of NEF General Contracting. We started out doing a little bit of everything: concrete, fences, roofing. We did everything. And then 3 years in, I was like, I got to go back into my field, which is what we did growing up, roofing. So we started the roofing company. My brother Justin came over. My brother Justin was working with another company. He was out. He got hurt. And then when he came over, kind of took a lot of weight off my shoulders.
How Justin got hurt real quick? Because it's a wild story.
Yeah, so Justin, they were taking a ladder down, working for another company, and the wires arced onto the ladder, and he got hit with 40,000 volts.
Oh shit!
Yeah, the other guy on the ladder flew across the street, hit the wall. My brother got stuck. And meanwhile, his kid is a week old.
Whoa!
And I'm bartending down in Wildwood at Flip Flops, and I get the phone call. And then it was on the news, and it was crazy.
It's
man.
like an anomaly that he's alive.
It
say,
traveled through his whole body.
Yeah.
Shot out his,
blew his boots off and shit.
Came out his pants caught fire. It was pretty serious.
It's wild. Like,
Damn, that escalated pretty quick.
We're laughing about it because, like, if you know Justin's like, I don't know, he's just like so calm and
so cool,
like,
calm and collective.
It's crazy, dude.
And the best part is, like,
400.
The best part of it is his boss is like, "You're all right, right? You're all right. You're all right." He's like, "Yeah, give me a." Can I curse?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, go to McDonald's, get me a fucking Big Mac and a Diet Coke. Let's go to the next fucking job. Because my brother, if he gets ticked off, he's gonna let you hear it. I mean, it's fucking comical. Calls me, he's like, "Hey, I just got electrocuted. I'm gonna be on the news. Whatever you do, just keep mom calm." I'm like, okay. And I knew he was all right when I was talking to him.
Wild.
It's pretty wild.
I love Justin.
Probably kill us for talking about it on the show.
What's your age difference to you and Justin?
5 years.
He's
Justin's 5, and then I'm 5 years older, and then my brother Sean's 5 years older.
So you're the middle.
Middle for us three. I mean, I have
I never met your older brother.
Family tree.
So down from the Kensington section of
Correct.
Philadelphia?
Yeah.
And
Westmoreland and Malta.
Jesus Christ.
So how did you two link up through kind of your business? Like, how did you cross paths? Because you were union prior.
I believe a guy, Ryan, right?
Oh yeah, Gallagher.
Ryan Gallagher.
We gotta get him on the show.
Buddy of
I was
mine
going
from
to
the
say he
neighborhood.
connects. He's like he bridges the gap between our neighborhood and their neighborhood.
Ryan Gallagher hit him up and said, "Hey, I use this kid. He does a good job." And then the rest has been history. I mean, me and Nick got a great relationship.
That's great.
Calls me. Just give me the address. I'll be right there the next day. Like, he's like, I need a couple days to get plumbing penetrations through, then come out and call. As soon as he calls, we take care of it.
It's so easy because once you get a system down with your subcontractors, a lot of times we don't even have to talk about the job at all. Like I can pull up text and it's just like, here's the address, ABC, 123 ABC Street, boom, flat roof. I'll have the roof and paint spot done by Thursday. You can start Friday. And he'll be like, okay, on it. Justin's got it. And like it's just like that fucking simple.
He already knows what we're going to put down. He knows if it's a shingle job, he already knows what color because he's got these color patterns that he likes.
Yeah.
So like it's pretty much just a quick phone call.
Wow,
It's fast.
And then like we don't even like talk about jobs on the phone. Like,
And then
we
he
more
yells
so,
at
like-
me. Then he screams at me to send him a bill.
Yeah,
You need it
that's the
quick.
truth.
Well, you were saying the
That's
difference
truth.
off camera. You were saying the difference between Nick and a lot of other guys is the quick pay and
Yeah,
you want to get
he's
it in and out
fast.
to
He's
the
super
next
fast,
job.
but I don't bill him quick enough.
And then I get yelled at.
He gets yelled at
Yeah, I
from
get
his
yelled at
wife.
from
But
Jen, and I yell at him.
the
Like,
commercial
yo.
side, we bill, but it just takes forever to get paid.
So how'd you get in? You said you got two other brothers. Did you guys grow up doing that? Is that something that you learned from some,
A
family
lot
member?
of the kids in the neighborhood when we moved over to Bridesburg, we all worked for this guy Walt Dychak. I mean, everybody in the neighborhood worked for him probably at one point. You know, I got out of it for a while. I ran bars and nightclubs for 20 years and managed that stuff. Went down to Florida for 4 winters. I did all that stuff, and then when I came back, I'm like, all right, I want to get back into my field. I started working for a roofing company. I was selling for them for a while. And then I was just like, I got to get out of this nightlife industry. I was still doing that. And I'm selling a lot of money worth of roofing. I'm like, why am I doing this for somebody else? So that's when I went in myself and went all in. Everything's mental. It's like, it takes you forever to I guess you could say, have the balls to go out there and go for it.
Kind of take that leap of
Yeah,
faith.
yeah,
Plus
a
that
lot of-
nightlife, we mentioned this on the show a bunch of times. I tended bar for about 15, 16 years.
Nice.
I worked in 20 plus years in that background. So it's hard, right? The money's good.
It's fast.
It's fast. You meet a lot of connections, and it's a lot different from my world's very similar in the sense that speed is required. But yeah, I mean, to open up your business, get it off the ground and running, it's hard to leave behind that fast, quick cash because that nightlife is there.
I did that while getting it off the ground for like a year and a half, 2 years. And then I said, I'm done with the nightlife.
Yeah, because for me, I know it was family.
I don't hate it. I love that experience.
Yeah.
I mean, it's helped this grow.
Yeah, it
Because I
always
met
does.
so
Yeah,
many
the
people.
progression is great.
I
right?
met
The contacts.
everybody doing that. Everybody.
Well, you
Whether
own a
it's
bar as well,
mayors,
right?
Yes, down in it's considered Port Richmond. But
So,
across
I mean,
the street's Fishtown.
which is the connection hub
Yep.
too, right? We met a ton. I met so many of my contacts and clients through the bartending scene and the nightlife scene. It's like, but like you said, it's the natural progression, kind of like out of that life into the business.
Yep.
So I'm always fascinated to see how the jump works because like you said, fast cash all night to now you're early.
It
morning.
works. Show up, respond to people, and make sure you get your bids in, and you're going to win. A lot of guys don't show up. I go to a house, 3 people didn't even give me a quote. They never gave me a quote back. We're hiring you. It's crazy. It's
That's
crazy.
it. As easy as that.
Just
Well, I
show
mean,
up.
with guys like Nick, I'm assuming that they're not going to take that shit, and the best price and quick response is probably going to win regardless. But
It does.
I mean, that's
To me,
crazy.
it's not,
guys
to me, it's not always.
responding.
To me, it's not always about the best price. It's about. It's really about the relationship that you have with the people.
Building
right?
like with
Yeah.
me and Nick, it's relationship, and a lot of guys I have like Nick, but then a lot of that all that commercial work is low bid.
Yeah,
Lowest bid
That, I
gets
was
the
going to say
job.
that's a big difference between the two.
Low bid
right?
gets the job. I mean, but then that's why I went in to start going into that commercial stuff because it's tough out here with the residential roofing. It's like it's a rat race now. It's like everybody's low bid. Everybody's just driving the numbers down.
As
Like,
you
we're
guys
working
get
for a day's pay.
yeah.
A lot
So
of dirt bags too, man. A lot of people.
You got a lot of
ripping
chuck in your
people
trucks.
off.
Our insurance is $60,000 a year. We have the top insurance you can get. I mean, you got guys paying $1,600.
now
They're
you're
not
just
even-
all referral based. Is that how the company
I've been
kinda-
referral based. I mean, Nick will tell you, you don't see me advertise really ever.
Yeah, I'm curious to see everyone's philosophy.
SEO companies have reached out and we haven't done it. We do a little bit. Probably don't spend enough money doing it.
Yeah.
But 8.5 years now, haven't had to. We haven't had to do that just because we built these relationships. We have property management groups that we do work with. I mean, you know them guys. They're always
Sure.
shopping numbers, but these guys give me a lot of work. A lot.
Well, plus your guys too. Like you've set it up where
Clean
there's
cut guys.
There's a culture of everybody knows you that works for you, right? That does, and a lot of times they're from your old neighborhood or from they're cousins of yours and all stuff. I met a bunch of people on the jobs, and roofing especially. There's a lot of how can I politely say this? Undesirable human beings in the roofing field. I think that's fair to say, right?
Yeah,
a lot of people with checkered past.
Roofers always have that dark cloud over them. They always have. I mean, everybody knows that. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, if you have a sister or anybody's dating somebody who's like, oh, you're dating a roofer.
Yeah.
I don't know. My experience now is they make a shit ton of money. So it's like,
Yes,
nobody
well,
understands
I'm
it.
talking about the workers. Like,
Yeah, of course,
There's a lot
of
of
course,
workers that are just like, they just have like real checkered past. A lot of dudes just really just can't get their shit together, continually messing up. Like we all know them. We grew up with a lot of guys. But
Your qualifications for being a roofer,
I was just
or a
gonna say
residential
your-
roofer or anything, it's not
your entry to get in is
it's
nothing.
your guys are all super polite, and I think Justin sets the tone with that shit, right? Your
Yeah.
brother doesn't go for that stuff. Like people on the job, like if they're acting up, like he doesn't go for that shit at all.
No.
And then like they look out for you too. Like if they see something else, they're texting me photos, calling me, hey, we saw this, we cleaned this up, we did this, we did that. They're looking out for you.
They
They're
go into
making
the
sure the
neighbor-
shit's locked, the windows are, hey, we saw a window open, what's the lockbox code? We'll go in, they lock stuff up. Like they're really looking
They go
out
into the
for you.
neighbors' yards, they clean that
Clean
stuff up. Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
I've had numerous neighbors say to me like, oh, your guys ripped off a roof. They did a great job. They cleaned everything up. They knocked on my door. They covered my car up out front. Like they did stuff, and that shit goes a long way. And then you end up getting business from the houses that I'm doing, like the neighbors and
yeah.
shit like that.
Yeah, we have plenty of times, and it's funny because a couple times I've showed up to jobs and well, I'm not even on site, but I get a call, and they're like, hey, is this your guys here? I'm like, yeah, why? And they're like, they look like models. They don't look like roofers. I'm like, what's that supposed to mean? They're like,
Yeah.
well, they look like salesmen. I'm like, no, they're the roofers. They're clean cut guys.
Yeah.
But like we have that dark cloud. Roofers always had that dark cloud.
Huh. That's interesting that they
Yeah.
would show up, because again, I think of roofers as, rough and tug, crazy ass
rough and
dudes
tough,
that jump
yeah.
up there and then,
Yeah.
hit the bar right afterwards.
I mean,
I'm sure, look, in
No,
all lines of work, but how do you
Man, I
guys
have-
kind of vet that process? I mean, it sounds like, where do you find, is it just all neighborhood guys like how you used to work for the guy in Port Richmond? Is that kind of one of your business
well, we used to have, I mean, listen, getting roofing help is tough to get to begin with.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I mean,
so where are you
we've
pulling
had
from?
guys in and out, guys that weren't doing good, guys were doing good, guys have passed away.
Yeah.
Obviously, had some drug problems and stuff like that, but we give everybody a chance. You give everybody a chance to want better for themselves, want a better life. We don't pay guys cash. We're, everybody's on the books.
Sure.
So we cost a little bit more money, our workman's comp and all that fun stuff. So like, you want to better your life, you can come over here and work for my brother Justin, get paid a check, real taxes, get Social Security. Or if you want to come work for R&N and want me to get you in the union, I can come get you in the union. I'll get you a real career.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit
some
about
options.
the union side, because a lot of the people that have listened actually has reached out and they were curious about the union side compared to like the private sector side. So tell us more about
So
that.
the union,
for
the union
roofing.
sides, it's all GC work.
Yep.
You get private work as you get into it longer, but it's all GC work. All the work downtown, all the schools, hospitals, all that, like the VA hospital, all that stuff. That's all union work. So it's a 4-year program, apprenticeship, second year, third year journeyman. Journeyman's top rate's their package is about $820 a day per guy.
Really?
That's what they cost for a journeyman.
So when did you get in? When did you?
2 years.
So no, but I'm saying because you had 20 years in the nightlife.
I
industry.
was.
Were you in beforehand?
I went 3 years to the. I was 3 years in the apprenticeship program, and left.
And that's right out of college or before college?
No, this was before.
You did.
No, right after college.
So you went where? You were Cabrini. You were telling.
I
me.
was at Cabrini.
Okay.
I left school my junior year.
So left junior year, went in the union, did the union stuff for a little while,
bit, yeah,
and then said,
went
"Screw
the
it,
other way.
we're going to go nightlife," and then came back 20 years later and said,
Were your brothers all North
It's been an
Catholic?
interesting.
"What about?" Yeah, I was going to say,
interesting path.
Was Justin doing the roof?
Justin was always roofing.
Okay.
Justin,
Were your brothers both North Catholic guys too? Or just you?
Justin, no. Sean, yes.
Okay.
My older brother. I have 17 brothers and sisters.
Jesus Christ.
Wait, how many?
Through different marriages. And
17.
Yeah.
Jesus.
That's a real Kenzo
Football.
shit there.
Yeah,
That's wonderful, man.
yeah, through different marriages and all.
Yeah,
it's
so,
interesting family tree.
Now we were kind of chatting about like the beaches and the shore house and markets popping up now. So you're venturing with the roofing and the GC stuff onto different spaces as well. Like it lends to everything, right? So it's not just like, hey, we're only doing resi roofing, we're only doing commercial roofing. Like when do you guys say like, hey, this is out of our lane? Things like that. Because I know small guys that kind of get over their skis, right? They'll take on jobs they can't do, they can't scale, they don't have the staff, and their business kind of goes to shit, right? It's delayed. You're referral based here.
No job's too big or small for us.
Yeah.
I mean, we're doing Delaware County Community College right now. We're getting ready to start Rowan College soon. We're doing Wilmington Library down in Delaware. We start that Monday. We load that. I mean, it's sky's the limit, and people need to realize that you don't have to just do that small stuff.
Who's keeping it organized?
I got 3 guys up at our office in Horsham.
Okay.
Running the estimating. My partner up there, Rich, and Kevin is also up there. So
they'll go. You'll get the quotes based off of what square footage,
everything.
material,
No, everything's blueprint.
Okay.
All blueprint work. It's all GC, so they send you blueprints. And we just fire bids in. We just fire away, constantly fire all week long. Just firing bids in.
And they're going off. A lot of those guys are allocating budgets off of like straight up square footage of the roofing, right?
It depends on roofing system.
Yeah,
it
so
depends
it's like
what
TPO,
they're doing.
and
If
like,
it's
can you
TPO,
explain some of the different stuff?
Well, because you got TPO, you got EPDM, and then you got your torch down rubber roofs. Single ply is TPO and EPDM. They're a 20-year roof, certified roof. You can get 30 if you do extra stuff to the roof, and that's maintenance free. There's no maintenance on that stuff.
Really?
Yeah. Now
because it's like one sheet, right?
It's just one sheet. They're 10 feet wide, 100 feet long.
They're the big white ones.
They're the
So if you
TPO.
see the commercial roofs where they're doing, like they'll have like the barriers around them with like flags and stuff like that, right?
I think
when they're doing
I think your
and then
friend
they
was
do
on the show
all
here.
white.
He did the Manning project down here. As you're coming up the road.
Oh yeah.
They're all TPO.
Yeah.
Which ones are
The one that Danny's at, up on Umbria.
Oh,
Umbria.
okay, yeah. All right, cool.
Umbria,
So
that's
they're all the TPO.
We bid all that stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So we would bid that whole thing: the roof, the metal, and the siding.
So no job's too small. What about the footprint? Are you guys Jersey, Philly, Greater, like
Tri-state?
Tri-state.
Tri-state. Yeah.
How many guys do you have? You started the company how long ago? And how
we
many
were
guys
running. We were running 10 union guys. It got a little slow, so we're down to like 6.
Yeah.
And then on the resi side, which is my brother's handling, he's got 5 guys there.
Nice.
And they specialize.
We're running 3 trucks, 3 trucks out of there, and then we're running our commercial crews. Everybody drives themselves there besides the foreman.
Okay.
And they specialize in flat rubber roofs, shingle roofs,
Flat
all that
roofs,
stuff.
shingle roofs, all that fun stuff. Soffits,
Gutters. I was even
Gutters.
talking to the gutter guy that is subbed out on that stuff, and that guy's cool as shit, man. He was a nice guy.
Another dude with a great like crazy past.
Yeah, and he was doing.
We
he
grew up
was
playing
doing-
soccer as little kids together.
He
in
was
Fishtown.
doing. He was telling me he was doing all the signs. Like, what union was he in? It was the
19. He was 19. Same one as
is
Matty.
Matty Rispo.
Yeah, but he
it
was doing
completely
signs.
different. Yeah, like
Yeah.
signs, big signs
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah.
And he was doing all that stuff, and he said it just got slow, and he started doing gutters. He looked into it, bought a truck. They're like box trucks. You put this machine in there to get coils of aluminum, and it makes the gutter. So say you need a 30-foot gutter, it spits out a 30-foot fucking gutter, right? And I want to say those trucks are like on the low end like 50, 60 grand, on a high end like
For a truck?
like 140.
Yeah, but I mean, you can buy the gutter machine, and put it on any box.
That's what I
truck.
mean.
Yeah, he's a good dude. I mean, I can go out and do that myself, but
Yeah.
Kid I grew up with, I give him every gutter job.
So you'll sub it out right
Right
him.
to him.
Okay.
He was a nice guy.
Or
And then-
or I'll tell him, hey, come spit. It depends. If the GC's like, some GCs get goofy, so they would want us hanging because we're fully insured to hang them.
Okay.
It's tough to bring a sub onto some of them jobs if they're not
Because they may or
properly
not be
insured.
licensed and
Because they're a
insured.
third-tier sub, they're not properly insured probably. So they'll spit them out for us, and then we'll hang them. But he normally hangs every gutter job on
downspouts.
all my residential stuff.
He had one of his kids there working with him, and then he was telling me his other kid, he wanted
Yeah.
him to take it over, but he was in the Army, got out, was working with him, and then left and went back to the Army. He was like, I just
Yeah.
like the Army life. And I was like, I get it.
He's a
You know
good
what I mean?
dude, man.
Yeah, he was
That's
a real
my
nice
boy
guy.
It's my buddy Jimmy.
Yeah, he's real cool.
So what
Little
is
shout out for Gutters Up,
Yeah.
Gutters Up? They're
Yeah,
called.
Gutters
And what's
Up.
his name? Danny.
Jimmy
Jimmy.
Alvin. Yeah.
So is that kind of like, are you take
Cherry picker. We used to call him a cherry picker in soccer.
Yeah.
I was always offsides trying to
Never
score.
played defense.
So, that neighborhood's fascinating. And obviously, we're Roman guys. I graduated from there in '01, and you're a buddy. We were talking about a buddy of ours off camera, Dugan.
Sean's the best.
Yeah, I was just talking to him last week. One of my favorite guys. But so is that kind of the philosophy when you and Justin are kind of going out looking for talent, obviously, guys to employ, neighborhood guys you grew up with through high school, or is it just through business referral?
We'll give anybody a chance.
Yeah.
If they want to learn, if they want to be here, don't come here just for a paycheck. Come here, you want to be here. It's kind of want to build that good morale,
Yeah, for sure.
It's just, I don't want you here just because you're here for a check. I mean, if you need a day's pay here and there, if you're a neighborhood guy and we know you, we'll, bring you in for a couple of days a week.
Career guys.
We want guys to come over and want to be here. We're not going to be shutting down anytime soon. So
yeah.
There's
been times where like Justin,
I got a little girl now, so
congratulations. By the way,
I want to pass all this down to her.
So is this your first?
Yeah, 9 months old. Yeah.
So now you get more on the business side of things, right? Instead of with new family kind of going, it's harder to be hands on and on job sites as much, right?
Yeah.
So what's that look like next for you? Because obviously we discuss our kids on here a lot, and the limited time you kind of have as they're young, but trying to run your business at the same time, like
it's tough.
It's brutal, right? Like there's not enough hours
tough,
in the day. So what's kind of it look like for you now, running the business, the union, stuff.
And you had her like a little later in life. I mean, she's
44
brand
years
new baby.
old. I haven't had a baby. I did a lot of things backwards, but there's a lot of ways to the finish line. So in my eyes, a lot of people think there's like, oh, I'm not doing it right, or I'm not doing this right. There's a lot of ways to get to that final goal.
Having that kid in that nightlife scene, that would have been the
wrong
way.
I took the crazy way.
Your wife's younger than you too, right?
What's that?
Your wife's younger than
yes,
you?
39. Yeah,
Nice.
Bridget. Thank God for her. She's the best. I'm lucky.
And
lucky
is
man.
it one and done for you guys?
I think it's that's it. I mean, we're a
Baby's
little
gonna be
older.
spoiled boy.
We're a little bit older. We've talked adoption, so we might do that
Yeah.
down the line, but we're not sure.
Yeah,
And
but
your brother.
We're just enjoying the moment now.
Yeah.
And it's
And
fun,
you said
man.
and how many months?
She's going to be 9 months.
9 months.
Yeah.
Okay.
And your brothers are all done having kids. Like it's a wrap for them.
I don't know.
Because Justin's got like
Justin has 2 little girls, 8 and 4, and I don't know if they're done. I would say no.
Okay.
I would say no.
All right.
They might throw another one in there.
There you go.
So with all these, I guess, the legacy piece of it is a big part when owning a small business or partnership or whatever it is in small business, right? You want to hand this stuff on to your next of kin, your daughters.
If that's what they want to do. If that's what they want to do. I wouldn't force it. But if they want to kind of learn this stuff, she's 8-9 months. I take her with me some days.
I believe we had some guests on the last show that said, hey, I think it's weird that people don't take their kids on the jobs.
I've taken her to go pick up checks. I mean, it's tough for the guy not to pay that day.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I mean, who's gonna?
But I mean, I have
that's really
I
smart.
have, because I mean, my wife's got the baby all day, sometimes all night. It's a lot on her.
Yeah,
it's a lot.
Dude, my 7-year-old
couldn't do it without her. I'll tell you that.
She's a ham. My 7-year-old, and like she's closed numerous deals for me.
I've met your
literally
daughter.
Closed
she's
deals,
smart
dude.
as hell.
He'll do shit on Instagram all the time, and he's got they open the door. And I
She's
said, it's
smart as
brilliant,
hell.
right?
Yeah.
Like the Stanton Street property that we just sold recently. Like I brought her with me to show to people. It was off market, but they had their agent with them, and they're like, we want to know about the house, and I'm like, tell them, Charlie. And she's just like walking them through, like, yeah, we're doing this, we're doing that, and they were like, what's the number? And she looked at me, she's like, I got it. And she like, I whispered the number into her ear, and she's like, this is what we'll take for it. And they were like, okay, we're gonna get back to you. So they called me back. They were like, tell your daughter it's a deal. I'm like,
It's great, man.
Yeah, we had a guest on a couple weeks ago, and we were discussing the same thing. Like, we think in our world, it's weird not to take our kids to our job sites, our investments, or whatever project you got going on, because Loretta she was mentioning how much she learned from those experiences, whether she knew it or not. Like each one of them, and she became a business owner herself, obviously. Yep. So it's interesting stuff, because you think, all right, little girls, how are they going to get in the roofing field? Like, well, they can dominate the business side of it, right?
Sure.
Totally.
I mean, they can. Their organizational skills.
Not even that, the benefits you get for being a women-owned company.
Oh, yeah.
It's
So
you get all the
it's just
minority
outrageous.
contracts.
You get
Yeah.
all the minority contracts. You have access to all that.
Crush it.
So
with
you guys
those.
are already thinking about this.
Yeah.
So you're way
Oh, you
ahead. You guys are way ahead of me.
You could crush it with that. With
I
that
had
kind
her.
of stuff.
Me and my wife took her to the clincher for the Phillies game. I mean, you know, a lot of people don't do that stuff.
Do you have the earmuffs
Yeah.
on?
They're
or
like,
no?
no.
Nah.
The
It
kids
gets
need-
loud there, man.
In my opinion, I think kids need some noise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, they need to get used to that kind of stuff, and why not early?
So as far as being a new dad, hitting all the business stuff, is life changed as far as like pivoting out of the nightlife scene? Obviously, you were coming in at 5 a.m, not getting up at 5
That
a.m.
life was special.
Yeah.
That was more than just
That
nightclubs.
was
Too. It was wild.
That was things people dream
Yeah.
of.
Well,
I
tell
mean,
us a little. Tell us what you can. I mean, I'd love to hear it.
It was a
It
wild
is
life.
totally different than now. I mean, married, kid, work, responsibilities. I mean, that's like being a college kid.
It really is,
It really is like it's like being a college kid. You know, you got nothing to worry about in life, no responsibility.
So while you were in there, though, you weren't thinking about the roofing career or anything.
I
like
knew
that,
I was
right?
going to do it eventually. I just didn't know what branch of construction I was going to do.
Yeah.
I knew the benefits in roofing, and I know what can be made in roofing. So that's why I went that avenue.
What
Yeah.
did you go to college for? Like, what were you going to college
Poli
for?
science.
What the fuck does that even mean?
I was going to probably run for mayor, buddy.
What the fuck does that even mean?
I was going to
dude?
probably run for mayor, buddy.
So
It's politics.
So poli science in the union, in the nightlife, in the union, in
Yep.
the business owner. Yeah. So now here we
Yeah.
are. So what's next for you and your guys there? Is there any big plans? Are we focusing more on resi stuff, commercial stuff? Because we like to kind of let our listeners know, like, all right, how do you scale your business, right? Like, there's plenty of roofing guys around this area that do a great job, that run great shops, but don't want to scale. We like to hear it kind of, do you have plans to scale? You staying put? Like, what's the deal?
A lot of guys, a lot of companies now are trying to scale to. They want to grow it and sell it to private equities. I think my side of the business is kind of hard to do that because we're doing a lot of blueprint work. We're doing a lot of flat roofs, and a lot of these guys that are scaling and selling to private equities they're let me see how to word this. They're just doing shingle work. They're doing subcontracting shingle work. They have just one site supervisor on there and 10 salesmen. There's no really overhead. You know, salesmen make their 10%. I get that. My friend does that, and
You can make a lot of money doing that shit.
a ton of money. And I tell people all the time. I've been telling my friends, couple other roofers in the neighborhood, shingles are where the money's at. It's there. It'll always be there.
And you don't
Shingles is where the money's at.
You don't have to do the work yourself.
There's no overhead.
It's
There's
all
no overhead.
subbed out.
You're subbing the job out. If any roofing company is telling you they're shingling a roof by themselves, they're lying.
Not all. There are
There's
some.
a couple.
There are some guys
There's a
that,
couple.
that stay small and do.
There's
that
a
stuff.
couple.
Yeah.
They're like 3 or 4, but it's going to take them 5 days to do
Yeah,
the job.
Correct.
And then if you get a good subcontractor, or if you have 5 subcontracting crews, now you can really scale.
This is how you know that it's subbed out right on a roof. You see, like you live in a neighborhood that's all shingled roofs.
Yeah.
Right. You'll see your neighbors getting roofs, right, and you'll see like a lettered truck pull up, right. They'll be like, oh, they're getting a new roof, whatever. Then you'll see
It won't be the company truck that they hired.
unmarked white vans pull up, and a bunch of South American workers get out. I'm seeing a lot more women in the
Yes.
crews too. A lot more
Yes.
women in the South
You
American.
want to know why
work
that
crews.
is? They
'Cause
clean
they're-
the ground unbelievable.
Well, they're making more money.
They clean up so well.
They're making
Yeah?
more money than being on cleaning crews for interior cleaning crews.
Correct.
For cleaning houses. And
They're laying tile now.
yes.
For these big GCs. They're in there
paint and
laying
spackle.
tile.
Dude, I was on a job site the other day. It was a girl spackling. And I'm like, so I talked to my guys and they were like, dude, it's really hard because my one guy, his wife runs a cleaning crew. And he said it's really hard for her to find cleaning girls now because they're all switching over to painting, spackle, and roofing because they're making more money. It's crazy. Like
It's the truth.
dude,
They're doing
they're killing it.
tile. They're carrying the what's a wet? What is it? Wet? Is it wet board or what is that?
Yeah, like all the cement board and
All
all
the
that
cement
kind of
green board.
yeah.
That stuff's heavy.
Yes.
And it's I walked into a project the other day. I'm not going to list the project, but it's a massive project down in Fishtown. Massive. And I'm not going to put it out there because I just don't want other people's business out there. But like a van pulls up and 25 people get out from South America. And they start carrying all this stuff into the building. They're screwing everything down. They're tiling floors. I'm like, this is crazy.
So this is the philosophy of a roofer that's just kind of starting a business, getting the shingle.
All you have to do is sell the
selling
work.
in their lane.
You
Yeah,
sell
I was
the
going to
work.
say you're selling the work,
Yeah.
and then eventually selling the business. So
Yeah,
there's
I'll give a shout out to one of my buddies. He's the ex-owner of One SEO. I'm sure you heard of them.
Okay.
Massive. His name's Lance Bachman.
Yeah.
This episode is made possible by our friends over at Milady Landscaping. Milady Landscaping is your go-to service for all of your residential and commercial landscaping and hardscaping needs. You can reach them on Instagram at Milady Landscaping, miladylandscaping.com, and 267-836-2102. Milady Landscaping handles all of our properties, my personal and investment properties.
So a buddy of mine, Lance Bachman, he owned One SEO. He sold his company, made a ton of money, did great. He's now all in roofing because he sees roofing now as HVAC 10 years ago. How HVAC blew up, and he's all in. You never ever hear company Allen Cherry? All these companies, he's buying them all up.
Okay.
I mean, he's offered to buy mine and be a 50-50 partner. He's offered to buy a bunch of people. He's scaling these things. He's growing them. He did Allen Cherry. They were doing $2-3 million a year. He grew them to $10 million within 8 months. I don't know what their exact numbers were when he sold, but he sold them for $20 million in 2 years.
So what's he doing? Grabbing guys, hiring way more sales guys, and then subbing out the work?
That's what they do. That's what all these shingle contractors do.
Now, the smart ones, in my opinion, this is what they do. They sell the work, right? You have a guy driving around in a nice F-250 or a truck like ours, selling the work, collared shirt on. Then you bring your dump truck there that's lettered up in your company.
Correct.
You bring the dump truck there, you have one guy on site. Any materials that the subcontractor needs, he's running and getting it.
He's the site
there.
supervisor. That's what I was saying
talking,
earlier.
He's talking to the client, any questions you have. So you're none the wiser that they are actually not the ones doing the work.
The site supervisor's maybe making $200 a day, $200 a day.
Yeah.
Salesman's getting his 10%.
You got a dump truck with a $500-$600 payment on it.
And it's all financing, right? They're financing this stuff. People want to do financing.
That's the other thing,
They
too,
want
where
an
you-
$80 a month roofing payment.
I was going to say, there's got to be a difference
It's a
between your
financing
company.
world.
It's more financing world. You
Yeah,
guys-
that's like power windows and siding, right?
Yeah.
Home remodeling. It's like a hard. I need your wife and your husband here. We're doing this here. I'm selling you at the dinner table. I'm eating dinner with you. It's like a super hard sale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did that. I used to do that for another company. I don't run my business like that. Not saying that you should or shouldn't. It's just not. It's not my style anymore.
Yeah.
That's just not my style.
There's a place for that, right? Because think about all the people that I sell homes to, right? And I'm privy to all their financial information that comes over for them to be able to prove. Like he has to send, and their agent has to send over to me the financials of the buyer, and I see it, and I'm looking, and I'm like, wow, they're 26, 27 years old, 28, 30, whatever. They both drive BMWs, right? There's this payment. They both make good money, but they only have like 30, 40 grand in the bank, right? Because they're living beyond their means.
Everybody's doing it.
70% of the people I sell houses to live beyond their means,
100%.
right? So if anything happens, boom, they're going to lose their fucking house, right? They're the people that need to be financed for a new roof,
100%.
right? And there's a lot of people that live like that. Listen, I'm in no position to tell people how to live. If that's the way you want to live, cool, great. I'm just in a different mindset from living like that. I don't do that rat race, that 9-to-5 rat race stuff. But there's so many people that do, and these companies are just, that's who they're going after.
Yep.
They're going after the normal American person.
Oh, and they pull
living a
they pull
9-to-5
into the
that
driveway.
needs
They see
this.
it. Let's say they see, like you said, they see a BMW. They're like, all right, I'm going after more money here.
Yeah.
They're starting their square.
crazy, isn't it?
They're
And they
starting
don't
their
give a
square foot,
fuck.
their square price at I'd say power windows and siding. Everything's $1,000. You get in the
high.
window, it's
They're
$1,000.
high, dude.
One square roofing, $1,000.
Now, are they still guaranteeing
There's-
their windows for like ever? If it fades out, the seal breaks,
Same-
you go get a new one.
Same place I get my Same
I
place.
know, yeah.
We know where to get the windows.
Yeah, it's wild.
It's the same
dude.
place. We get the power home remodeling deal. That's what we're getting.
Yeah,
That's why Will's Will Power.
yeah.
It's nuts.
Dude, it's crazy because you can upcharge these people so much because they really don't give a fuck about the actual price. What you are offering them is you're like, hey, we have financing available. It's at this percentage.
Yeah, and
you
if
need
you're
to pay it off over
approved,
this.
if
your credit score is this,
you're $90 a month.
Dude, you could
I
sell
could sell
roofs,
roofs, yeah.
outrageously amount of roofs.
Well, when this all don't work out, I'll
and
start
you could
selling.
and you could sell
You
the
need a guy.
financing for
we
it
can start
because
a single
you know.
branch, boys.
I was going to say the
Dude,
shingle. It's in my head right
all
now,
these
man.
fucking people, you
I know the
finance
wheels
them.
are spinning over
I'm
there.
like, oh, that don't sound too bad to me. I could get a couple white vans to go up there and we can do this quickly. But no, I mean, it's crazy to hear the two different philosophies because it sounds that the shingle stuff is obviously not a labor of love. It's just like, all right, get this business up and going, sell it to the next guy, move on to the next thing.
It's quick. You're done. You're in and out in a day.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
You're
in,
just
you're
churning,
out, you're
burning,
on
don't give a shit about the quality of work, really. And
Well,
you're
not. I wouldn't say they don't care about the quality of
Oh,
work.
their quality's great.
yeah.
Oh, dude, their quality. Like
My
these
shingle
South
subs-
American crews that are like doing good roofs. And here's the thing: if they're not good, they won't get hired. Right?
My
They won't be in
my
the
shingle
game.
sub's been with me 7 years. You won't get that. You don't get a sub to be with you that long. They're either messing up, you're firing them, they're leaving, they're trying
Turning over.
It's a nightmare. You get a good sub, keep them. If it costs you a couple extra bucks, keep them.
Now,
A lot of roofing guys are like subbing work out, and they're shopping the sub number like outrageously, and it's like, be careful because at the end of the day, your name's on that, not the sub.
And you're the one giving the warranty.
Yeah,
not the sub.
exactly. The sub's done. He's not coming back.
He's a day labor paid, like basically. Like he's a day labor.
And what I mean the difference between my company and them companies is, I got in-house guys,
yeah.
and we're both subbing our shingles out, but my guys are coming tomorrow. We're coming tomorrow and fixing your roof. You're not getting that 7-man sub crew to come back out and fix that roof tomorrow because they're on the next roof doing
They're
the next
already
roof.
moving on to a full
We're-
different
if
project.
there's a problem, we're coming right in behind them. And that's the difference between us.
I was just going to say,
and a lot
that's
of
the
these other
difference
guys.
between a lot of you and the other companies.
That's the difference between us and a lot of these other guys. A lot of these other bigger companies, they do not have in-house guys.
Yeah, so this is more like the longer play, really build the business the proper way so you can keep it, you can pass it down, you can kind of hand it off to whoever.
Yeah.
And then Justin specializes in like flat
Flat
roofs. So
roofs.
he's
My brother
banging out
Justin's
flat roofs like
flat
crazy.
roofs all day
City
long.
all day,
Torching
flat
them
roofs.
down,
Just,
Torch.
ripping
Yeah.
them
Torch
off.
down, yeah. Torch down. It does a little bit of TPO and EPDM now, but he's always on the torch stuff.
just up there,
He's on-
moving and
he-
shaking
so
quick
he-
as possible.
Anything really, really. I have customers like, nah, I want you to send your brother. They specific, right there.
Yeah, yeah.
He wants my brother on all his jobs.
Any particular reason? Why would some investors do
He
that?
knows it's going to be taken care of.
Here's the thing too. Like I know when Justin's there that I'm not going to have any issues with neighbors. I'm not going to have any issues.
Because he knows how to talk
with-
to the neighbors without an issue being addressed.
Dude, I'll get calls from Justin, right? Here's the thing. You get calls from Justin, you can't call Justin because he won't answer his fucking phone when he's on the roof.
And
Like,
you know why?
but
He
he'll-
doesn't answer his phone because he's working.
He'll call.
Smart.
He'll call me, and I know when he calls me, it's not for bullshit. He'll call me and be like, Nick, the one neighbor was a little bit mad about something, and it's all smoothed over now. I'm like, you need anything from me? No, I took care of it. I just did a little bit. I saw something wrong on his roof. I just did it real quick for him, and you ain't gonna have no problems with this neighbor no more. Cool. Thanks, Justin.
And it
Like,
helps because you're doing these builds right
Uh-huh.
next door and you're making noise, and you don't want these people bothering you. You don't want them calling City of Philadelphia on you and all that crap.
Yeah, making your guys' life
Where
miserable.
some subs,
Sure.
like
Nightmare.
some subs, and I mean, I see other people, or some of our friends and stuff, dealing with it. Where like these subs don't give a fuck. Like the neighbor complaining or a bit, they won't even tell you. They won't even handle it. Like,
Yeah,
they
they're
won't-
all in
they're
and
just
out.
like,
It
yeah,
doesn't matter
They're just like,
anyway,
yeah,
right?
I don't know. See
They
you,
don't
and they're
care.
like, I don't. Yeah, I don't
They're
know.
like
you.
the GC can worry
Yeah.
about it, but like
They're
if you
leaving
can put
doors
out-
unlocked. All that
If you
shit.
can put the fire out right there, keep them breathing down the GC's neck. It's better off. Happens on big jobs too. You know, we start the scissor lift or the high reach too early in the morning. Neighbor comes out, no problem. We'll shut it down. We'll wait till 7:30, 8 o'clock, and turn it back on. Guys are sitting there for an hour, getting paid, but just whatever you can do to
Whatever you can do to not
just
let
you
it
don't
blow
want to
up,
bring any
right?
you don't want to bring any heat to the place you're
That's
working
always
at.
a complaint. Like the
It's
the
all the
noise
time.
in the morning. Like, oh, it's 8 a.m. on Saturday. It's like, yeah, well, by right, we're allowed to do this. Like, you know what I mean? And
You got to remember, Fishtown, right? They're not used to this. They're building massive buildings down in Fishtown, and these people live there their whole lives.
Yeah.
They're pissed.
Of course.
Yeah.
We're doing a building now for Tester, TCJ. 250 units. It's huge. It's just 500 squares of roofing, 550. It's huge. Massive. It's a massive project.
That,
And,
now
it went up right in front of houses that only went up a few years ago. They got no view anymore.
Now, there's a neighborhood that really there's not many fish downers left anymore.
They are over all near my bar. They're all people. The guys that and women that hang in my bar are all the old school. They're the old school fish downers.
And over where Rispo lives, like there's still a
Oh
bunch
yeah,
right
Matt's
in there.
right down the street.
Yeah,
Matt's
so
right
it's
down
like
the street.
it's everybody knows one another over there too.
Yeah,
It's
of
funny.
course.
Like,
Everybody,
there's
yeah,
not
everybody
there's
knows
really
one
not a lot of old school fish down there. Like a lot of people left.
It's crazy. A lot of people in that town. It's like we grew up to work hard, fight for everything you have, and that's really the mentality you need to be successful in what we do. A lot more people in the neighborhood should stop being scared.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
one note I could say. People should go for it. And
Now,
I've multiple people I know I've talked to, they went for it and they're killing it. They're doing great.
Yeah, it
Doing
sounds
great.
like you're. And now I'm thinking, because I sit over here and say, well, how does this work into our business? Like the lending side of things, the real estate side of things. Now, you guys mentioned financing earlier, the powers of the world compared to like your small mom and pop. Like, why, what we should do, and obviously this is what I do with some of the roofers or GCs I work with, is the renovation piece of it, right? Yep. Like maybe you don't offer financing, but hey, my lender does offer financing.
there's companies specifically for that.
Well, I know, of
You
course,
hook
yeah,
up with,
for
yeah.
sure. But I mean, how we do it with our small, independently owned kind of contractors that want to drum up and drive business, we say, all right, well, why don't you hit your pipeline or I'll hit my pipeline, and we bounce business off one another.
Yeah.
And, hey, they don't have 30 grand to do a roof, but while they're doing the roof, they could do their kitchen and bathroom. So we cash out, refi 100
Dude,
grand.
Rispo offers financing for HVAC stuff.
For HVAC stuff.
Like if I was doing kitchens and bathrooms still, I would definitely do it.
Well, you would,
You could
but I mean,
murder it, dude.
Yeah,
murder it.
I guess what is
Because
that?
you can put upcharge on it, and people don't give a fuck.
Upcharge to cover the service fees that the companies.
No, you could put an upcharge on it for the convenience of that.
Here's
so like,
how it works. I'll explain how that one works. Regular residential flat roof, let's just say $4,000.
Okay.
A lot of these guys are charging $2,000 instead of they should be charging $4,000. That's what you should be charging. They're maybe slow on work, just want to get the job, want to keep working. If you're now doing financing, you can probably charge about $6,000 for that roof. And the bank's paying you, and they're financing through the bank. Problem with them,
might be a little bit slower of a payment, right?
doesn't matter. We get paid right away. It's the bank getting paid slow.
Yeah.
It has not. I mean, it's brilliant that they do it that way.
Sure, of course.
And it's been doing it. People have been doing that for years.
Yeah.
That's how you mortgage your house.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Well, not a lot of people have upfront costs for that.
yeah,
right?
it's the same. It's but if you're only paying $80 a month, I mean, it's
you barely feel it, and you're like, all right, it's another one of our bills that we now have become
people
accustomed
like
to
us
living
who have
with.
our own businesses, we don't think like that anymore because we're not paying all that interest. I'm not gonna pay Porsche prices for a Dodge Neon. It's like, I mean, I sold cars years ago at Gary Barbera. It's like,
I was going to say, holy shit,
I
the Dodge Neon reference was out of left field. I was
When's the
gonna
last time you seen a fucking Dodge
I was
Neon?
going to
It's
say,
like a
we really
unicorn,
aged
bro.
ourselves.
I
Because,
watched the guy sold
my
it.
buddy Shane Brody used to have
I
a
watched
Dodge
the guy
Neon.
there.
It was awesome.
a guy sold a Dodge Neon to some lady for like
I haven't seen one.
40,
15,
like
20.
38 grand, and he was inside high-fiving, and I was like, I'm leaving here. This is my last day. I was sick. I was sick to my stomach.
That
watching
somebody would pay that
She
amount
was
of money.
paying $99 for like forever, and for her, it sounded like a great deal. $99 isn't nothing out of my check, but for me, it was like,
Why the hell
I'm
were
outta
those
here.
cars so popular? They were ugly as shit too.
Yeah.
They were crazy.
yeah,
They were like the first throwaway car.
yeah.
dude.
I watched that deal go through, and I was like, I'm out of here.
I'm mad. I
This is
can't
it
do
for
this
me.
in good faith anymore.
This is it
No, I
for
look
me.
I look at financing for certain things in a different light, right? Like, so I buy a vehicle, right? Like a dump truck, right? Say my dump truck, right? I bought a dump truck and it was, I don't know, 60-some thousand or some shit like that. I forget what it was, 60, 70 grand, I don't know. But it was real low interest rate, and I think it's $1,000 a month payment. So the way I look at that is, I finance it. I get the full write-off on that. And for a truck like that, you can write it off in the whole amount the
minute you
first
have it.
year.
Yep.
Boom, right? The whole full write-off for that. So I'm not giving Uncle Sam 60, 70 grand of my money now. Boom, there's a write-off. And could I go and write the check for that? Yes. But why? Because my accountant says to me, "Why would you write the check for that? You can go get it. It's costing us $1,000 a month. Just take." And he's like, "How? That's 70 grand. How much more can you make with that 70 grand?"
Yeah,
I'm
you're
like,
going to go
"A
buy another
fuckload
investment
more."
property.
And I was
I
just
could
going to say,
roll
on
that
the
70
mortgage
grand into
side,
4
a
houses a
thing,
year.
it's a massive play, right? Because you want to expense your auto, you want to have a 12-month history of it, because we, in our world, need that 12 months. Then we can hedge it out, right? So now you're purchasing
We finance
power.
our ice machine at the bar.
Yeah,
And
of
it
course,
probably, I don't even know what it costs. You want to know why? Because they're going to come fix it every time it breaks, and I don't have to deal with it.
Absolutely.
For what? $118 a month? I don't care.
Dude, my buddy,
I don't want to.
You don't want to deal with it.
My
It's
buddy
one of
Bill-
those
It's
things,
one
yeah.
more thing I have to do, and it's just not worth it. It's not the time.
My buddy
I wanna
Bells
spend.
makes a living financing and selling kitchen equipment for commercial kitchens, like dishwashers, right? And they service them. They have service contracts on these, and that's what they make money, because the restaurant owners don't want to deal with it breaks, and now it's on them. They got to find a guy to fix
That is
it.
another-
They just call, hey, they come right out and they fucking maintain it.
That is
Boom.
another unbelievable business.
Oh yeah.
Selling kitchen equipment?
No, the maintenance packages on these big property management groups, doing the maintenance on that stuff, on the refrigerators, the dishwashers, all that stuff. There's some real money in it.
Speaking of maintenance, like, say somebody has single family homes, they have multi-family homes, whatever it is, they all have roofs, right? What do you recommend that they do if they're holding a bunch of properties? What do you recommend they do? They call you, and what should they do?
For like investment groups?
Yes.
We
It doesn't have to be investment.
Or
It
even
could
just
be-
your
could be-
regular
could be
landlord,
Ryan,
yeah.
and Ryan
regular
might own
landlords and
10
stuff like
10
that.
buildings.
Yeah. So, if it depends what type of roof you have, right? If it's a torch down roof, you get 10-year warranty on that roof, and everybody always thinks, oh, it's going to last 10 years or it's going to last 20 years. It's not if you don't maintenance it. So, like the muck and tape for the perimeter around all the pipes, around all the penetrations, that has to be maintenance because it cracks. And
Especially with our
it used to
climate.
not crack because there was asbestos in it. Now it's just straight cracks. Used to be 3-year maintenance. Now I'm down to 2-year because it doesn't last. It lasts about 2 years.
And then when you're telling your people, hey, this is a 2-year, 3-year, 10-year, they're assuming, hey, I don't have to do
So
anything.
if you got a 10-year roof, if I did
Yeah.
a roof for you yesterday, you have a 10-year roof, you're going to have 5 maintenances throughout that 10 years.
Okay, which a lot of people I know for a fact
Just
do
like
not know.
we talked earlier, it's like a car. You got to put oil in it.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
go
you're
for
going
an
to blow the
inspection.
engine. You got to take. You're covered on the rubber. You're just not covered on the perimeter of the tires.
See, it's funny how you guys see it, though, right? Because I think of it from the consumer standpoint, where I know they don't think of it that way. Like,
Nobody
hey, it's an
does.
oil change. This is going to be they think of it, hey, this is going to be a $15,000, $20,000 hit when the time comes. That's why that financing option is so key in our
It could be
world.
anywhere between $700 and $1,200 in
Yeah.
that range, depending on
You're
the size
talking
of
about your
roof.
flat city,
Yeah,
silver
your
coat
normal
roof.
flat city
Yeah.
roof, yeah.
But I mean, up here, if there's houses are 3,000 and 4,000 square foot, 5 bedrooms,
They're all going to be.
shingle-
Most of them are
shingled.
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 So the only thing your maintenance on that is
Your roof
the pipe
penetrations.
collars,
The pipe collars at the,
the
base
pipe
of
boots.
the
And that's
That
another
reminds
thing.
me, I got to get you out to.
Well,
my
that's what
house.
I want to say. The
They
difference
don't-
between the two, because even up here, I know that the shingle guys don't do any.
Well, they
maintenance
don't tell you that, but that pipe collar really is only covered for 5 years.
The rubber, and I built my house.
The
I don't
rubber
know,
gaskets on them
7,
go.
8 years ago now. I was just out back the other day, and I was like, I got to get Nikki up on this roof to check the roof boots because
Did they crack?
I don't know.
you
I
don't
mean,
know.
I'm just
Yeah.
saying it's about that time. I got to
Yeah.
get you to go up there and just take a look at that. But the other thing with
Did you see what they invented for that? Instead of the whole new
slides
boot,
right over?
They have the little rubber slide. It's the same gasket, just slides right over.
Right over it.
Is that unreal?
Yeah, some dude made millions doing that.
I know.
We're kicking
I'm just
major
like,
major business ideas.
Good for that guy.
Yeah.
Like great for that guy.
It
Because all
just
you need to
slid
do is
right
kick
on.
the water off the pipe and
And great for
pass.
us. It kind of makes our job a lot easier because now we're not ripping all the shingles out, and you probably charge $375 for that repair. It takes about 30 seconds.
Yeah, now it's like an hour.
And they usually have about 5 on a roof. So it's a quick hit. It's
By the
nice.
time you drive out to the job, climb up on the ladder, boom, you're gone an hour. So like you
and
do
then people are
numerous
like,
a
"Oh,
day.
you were here for 10 minutes." Well, what if I fell? That's why we charge what we charge. Because when we fall, we're not getting a sore foot. We're breaking bones or dying.
My dad used to always say, like, people like, with the HVAC systems, oh, Charlie, you're only here for 45 minutes and you're charging me $300. He's like, you're not paying me for the time that I was here. You're paying me for my 45 years of experience,
Yeah, my
not
service,
my 45
yeah.
minutes of being here. Call another company. They won't even know what was wrong. I know what was wrong immediately. That's what you're paying me for. You're paying me for what's up here, not my time that was
A lot of guys are charging. They're just charging just to come out and look at stuff.
Yeah, 100%. Just to walk through the door.
Really?
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't charge to go look at a job. But
I
a lot
feel
of
like
guys
that's got to
are.
put you at a pretty big disadvantage in today, the way the consumer behavior today is. If you're going to say, "Hey, I'll come out and take a look
You
at your
can't be
roof,"
mad
or
at them
two-
for it because it's,
no,
I
of
mean,
course,
it's a lot of
it's
gas money.
gas, and you're traveling back and forth.
Especially now with inflation.
Yeah, I mean,
Way
but
this
I just
country's
feel
gone.
like that's so, that's got to be an added
Think about how
service,
many
too.
people waste people's time.
Oh shit! I work in the mortgage industry. I get it. I mean, I totally.
So
I have my days wasted all the
Yeah,
time.
They,
so
they
we
had
totally
you
understand.
drive 40 minutes to look at a roof, and they got 5 quotes already. I mean, I've flat out told a customer, "Why am I even here if you've
Yeah.
got 5 quotes already? You don't need me here."
What about like what Danny's work is? He does drone and overhead footage. You guys into the drone or any of that equipment just yet on any of your roofs or commercial?
We do some
no?
drone stuff.
Yeah.
I used to do some videos. We video a lot of project.
Yeah.
People
do
are using it
know
to
it's
inspect.
know it's a cool
I
business.
was going to say you
Using
see
it
it
to
for
inspect.
inspections a lot, right?
Well, that's the that's
agree
the,
with it,
that's the worst for
don't agree
the
with
for
it.
these home inspectors that aren't climbing on the roof.
Yeah.
How do you know the plywood's bad?
That's a good question.
Well,
I
the
think the same
roofers are
thing.
doing that now.
Yeah.
They're flying drones over these properties, which is great for pictures and great.
You're just seeing
How
the
do you
exterior.
know?
How do you know underneath
How do you
it?
know?
Yeah, it's not
you got
rotted
to
out.
walk on that thing. You got to know if it's the wood's bad, right? You got to know.
So the
You gotta
drones are
take a-
just looking for the wear and tear.
You want
the
to take
shingle,
a core
like, yeah.
sample out, right? You want to take a core out and see how many layers is there, because if you're going to re-roof the roof, you don't want it to have 10 layers on it, because then now the
roof could fucking
the
collapse.
trusses ain't going to be able to hold the bearing weight at that point.
Dude, I remember
we
we-
do roofs. I tear roofs off. There's 13 layers. I'm
Dude, we
like,
did one in North Philly. You called me. You're like, you ain't even gonna believe this. You sent me a picture of the whole salt.
it was,
dude.
it was,
this
it was
fucking
six,
big,
it was 6
dude.
hockey pucks.
It was
was
ridiculous.
six-
There was
the
like
house
2
was
layers
built-
of
yeah,
metal
it
in there.
6 hockey pucks. There was metal roof and cedar,
was
rubber. I mean,
outrageous.
I'm like, I couldn't believe this thing didn't collapse.
Yeah.
I
He
never
was like,
thought
"Yo, we
about
gotta
that from a
tear
home
this off."
inspection standpoint. I mean, lenders don't really require them on a lot of
So
things. but-
shingles,
yeah.
I get in the attic. I count the sheets that we're replacing just from the inside.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but here's the
know
thing.
what I
You're
mean?
looking out for the client. They don't give a fuck.
Because this
Because
is
they're
why.
charging $125 a sheet, so they hope every fucking sheet is bad.
So
because it's in the contract that you sign, and
it
nobody
is,
looks at.
and this is why I do it, because I want the customer to know what their all in is going to be. I do it different, and maybe I'm weird. I don't know. I just do it different. I want them to know what their all in is going to be, because are they going to tell the shinglers after the roof's ripped off, "Oh, I don't want you to replace my plywood"? It's already in your contract. You got bad plywood. I'm replacing it
Yeah.
for $125. Now they're getting hit with a $4,000 bill they weren't expecting. But if I can tell them that beforehand, they know what
Because
they
you
got to
climbed
have.
up in the attic, you
I
saw.
went in the attic.
Hey,
I
it's
inspected
old.
it.
It's the
hey,
old
you got
3/8
mold
shit.
all over in here. We're
Yeah.
going to replace this. Now we got to do something different for your ventilation system, because now we see mold. It's just a lot that comes into it.
Yeah.
But that goes to that hard, and I only learned that from doing that hard selling. I got in the attics. We spent hours at the properties. We didn't leave without a signature. We spent hours there.
But dude,
I had dinner with so many people.
There's these companies that just fly the drone up, right? They'll fly the drone
Yeah.
up, and they'll say, "All right," and now you can do the satellite imagery to give you your how many squares of roofing you need and all
Well,
that
you
stuff.
could get the thermal imaging too, which I get a lot of that. The thermal.
But these
for
people,
moisture.
these people are still,
Really?
these people are locking you in on a price, right? Saying, "Hey, this is your price. Yeah, I'm good with that." And we offer financing. Yeah, I'm good with that, right? And you're signing a contract. What you don't see at the bottom is it's
In red.
100,
I put it in red.
$100 to $200 a sheet of plywood that they have to replace, which is a $40-$50 sheet, right? So now, what if you need 30 sheets of plywood? Do the fucking math. It's a lot of money.
We went up to 150 during the crazy
Wow,
spike.
do you remember how
But
high it
I'm
was?
back
It's
down to 110.
crazy.
I'm back down to 1. Most guys are 120. Some guys are 100. I'm 110. I kind of stay in the middle there.
Okay.
Like he knows he don't even have to call me if something something's wrong. You do just fucking do the right
He
thing.
just wants
replace it.
Just
Do it right.
Do it like you would do it at your own home. That's his philosophy.
And then like when I had all the North Philly rentals, right? I would hire them to come out once or twice a year, right? And it's
Were
funny.
they some fun projects?
Justin would muck and tape everything, clean out gutters, all that stuff, just preventative maintenance, right? You know, all the boots, even like he's like, "Hey, I saw some lint. I fucking I stuck a blower on it, pulled some lint out, stuff like that, vacuumed it out. But he used to have a jar in his old truck when that red truck got damaged. He had a jar of bullets that he would pull out of roofs, dude. I had a bunch of leaks from bullets.
600 bullets in that jar.
Really?
Oh yeah, dude.
He collects them.
He had a coffee can
nuts.
full of bullets that
nuts.
were in roofs.
He collects them, that and all the copper boxes we replace. He collects them. He goes, yeah, this is going to be worth money when we go to war.
Yeah.
He's great. But yeah, the preventive maintenance. So like, even in the wintertime, right?
Mm-hmm.
Them boxes always get clogged.
And they freeze.
You remember back in the day, you could buy the block of salt, put it on the roof. That's what that was for, that block of salt up there.
Yeah.
It was for that stuff. You can put the cages in, so the stuff. The stuff, if you got trees around, it's constantly getting clogged. What happens is it backs up under your roofing system. And backs into the house.
And then it doesn't actually leak like when stuff's happening. It leaks when it thaws out.
When it thaws out.
And then it starts. Same with frozen pipe. It bursts when it starts thawing out, and then it's fucking.
And
leaks.
a lot of guys don't even realize this. You know Delaware Ave, how it's always flooded on a big rainstorm.
Of course.
That's because our underground water treatment can't keep up with all the water, all the building, and all the extra water that's coming. Right. What happens to 99% of these houses? The ground leaders are backing up because of all the water going in, and it goes back up the pipe and back and shoots back into the house,
Or
up
freezes
at the top
too.
of the box. So what we do is we screw a couple holes behind the downspout, so when the water goes to go back up, it shoots out the back. And people are getting new roofs, and they only have a blockage problem.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Crazy.
Yeah,
There's also a lot of scumbags out there selling roofs to people, like old ladies, and then they'll go up and they'll just fucking put a silver coat on it and fucking walk away and charge her for
people do a lot of
$4,000
that.
for a new rubber
We
roof.
see a lot of that stuff. They're like, "Oh, I got a new roof 3 years ago." I said, "No, you didn't."
Yeah, that's typically like the landlord play,
And
right?
I take
It's
a
like
picture.
just-
The landlords just want to slap,
Yeah.
and I get it. You know,
Band-Aids on bullet wounds.
they don't want to put the money in. It's a roof. You don't see it. They don't feel like they need to. But why don't you put a new roof on this thing, not to worry about it for years? Because you got tenants who are going to blow your phone up. And then if they want to, once they start calling the city on you or talking mold, now you got problems. So it's
Dude, twice a year, I would have him out to all the rental properties. And
what
so
you
I
do
would
with
just,
all them? Dump them?
Yeah, I sold them all the North Philly. I only have one lot left in
He's
North Philly.
in, he's out. He's
Anybody
in, he's
wants to
out.
buy anything in North Philly, I got
Yeah.
one lot left. You can build something on. But
About 3 years, you're going to wish you kept them.
yeah, right.
When rents are through the roof.
The headaches, it wasn't worth it.
I know.
It wasn't even worth my peace of mind hearing my wife fucking bitch and complain. But what we would do is we would hire them to come out once or twice a year and for a day.
Yeah.
Or sometimes we'd break it up because we had so many of them. It'd be like 3
Yeah, we would
days.
hit like 6 or 7 a
Yeah,
day.
boom. And in that way, I would avoid issues. So here's the thing. A lot of tenants don't even call you. Oh, that roof's been leaking for 6 months. They don't want to call you because they don't want you there. They don't want you to see that there's 4 people living in that apartment.
Yeah.
100%.
You know what I mean? So they don't want you there. So they'll deal with a roof leak. They don't give a fuck. So if I pay a roofer for a daily, like he would be like, hey, I'll charge you this for a day, and they'll just go do rough muck and tape. Anything else serious, then we'll dive into it then. And then it's like, all right, cool. So that saves me money. It keeps his guys working. So if it's a slow day, he would call me like, hey, I would just be like, put it on a list. He'd be like, yo, I had a job cancel. My guys came in. I'm sending them out to hit your place. So it was a good thing for his guys.
I remember the one time you called me and you were like, "Hey, the lady's saying this roof's still leaking." I said, "What day of the month is it?" And he's like, "Oh, it's the 29th." I said, "That's because rent's due."
Yeah.
He goes, "You're right. You're absolutely right. That ain't leaking." Yeah. And that happens a lot.
Yeah.
A lot with the property management group stuff because the one group's got like 4,500 houses that I do a lot of this maintenance and stuff. I do all the roofing, siding, and windows now, and it happens a lot to them. They're like, "Oh, we're leaking. I'm like, "They're not leaking. They're not." I said, "I'm like, I was there personally."
So the property management group for you guys is what really like
We do a lot of stuff with property management
Yeah, I was going to
groups.
say that would butter your bread. I think an awful lot.
That
right?
there keeps
you
the guys
busy.
rolling.
Yeah,
Keeps
keeps
you busy.
your
keeps the
guys
business-
paying and happy.
I look at it as baseball, right? There are singles.
Yep.
There are singles, and there's nothing wrong with singles. They keep you afloat. They keep you in business. Pays the bills. Then you hit your doubles, triples, and home runs. You know?
It keeps your guys working all the time, so you can keep good guys. So you have
You wanna-
consistent 5 days.
Because
of work
in the
week
roofing
for them.
rat, that's why you can't keep roofers because the weather, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're 8 years, and you can ask any guy who's been with me a long time. We've had work 6 days a week.
No matter what, rain, sleet, it doesn't
I
matter.
have work.
Yeah.
We
Guys don't pivot into the snow, the
we
plow,
got work.
and all
I mean,
that stuff.
there's guys that come over and work with us, but they're not like a full-time guy with us, and there might not be something for them, but there's work here. It's been like that for a long time.
So how should investors deal with a subcontractor such as a roofer? Like, what is your suggestion for an investor that's flipping a house or that's going to renovate a house and keep it? How should they deal with you? When should they call you, and how should they communicate and deal with you?
I would call us as soon as you have that thing gutted. That's the time. Call us when it's gutted. We'll go over it because we want to see the rafters. We want to make sure they're not cracked. If the rafters are cracked, we know we got to rip the roof off. After that, we kind of come out and take a core, and we see how many layers are there. If there's 2 layers, you can go back over them one more time. If you want to go over 4 or 5 layers, I'm gonna walk away from the job. I don't want any liability of something coming down, collapsing. It's just not. It's not worth it. It's not worth it for me.
Where are these guys?
And then I steer them in a direction to what roofing system to put down.
Okay.
How long are you going to keep it?
Is there a budget?
So if an investor, a young green investor, he's got the house ripped, that's the time for the roofing consultation. Come on out, take a look at it, because now before you're hanging your drywall, your electric, all that.
You can get me out there earlier before you put your budgets into your bank.
Yeah.
I'm going to need some information. I'm going to need to know how long you're keeping the property. We want to give you the right roof.
Absolutely.
I wish everybody would put, the maintenance-free roof on, but maintenance keeps us going. So, but if you got to weigh it out, if you're going to keep the property 10, 15 years,
spend more money up front.
You're going to spend the same money down the line. And that's where the property management group's now thinking about tearing these roofs off and going TPO and everything.
No, it's funny because, every house we sell, we have, people get home inspectors. Not everyone, but most.
On the home inspectors are the absolute word. They have no idea.
It's just hilarious. We laugh about this shit all the time, right?
Their qualifications, and he'll tell you, they go online and take a class for like 3 days, and they're qualified.
45 hours.
It's a joke.
But it's funny because we laugh about this all the fucking time. Like, we'll get a roof inspection back, and I'm like, yo, got it.
He don't even want to send it to me.
Got another one with pulling water on it, right? And I'll pull up the date, and I'm like, it rained the night before. Like, dude, you have like fucking 72 hours for pulling water to go away.
Yeah, for ponding.
You know what I mean? Like, give me a fucking break.
And at the end of the day, it's like, and I have customers say this to me, like regular customers, not Nick. They're like, yeah, there's some ponding water on the lower back roof. I'm like, we did a re-roof. At the bottom of my contract, there's an exclusion. We're not responsible for ponding water and all this other stuff. Is that going to be a problem? No, it'll be gone in a day or two. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
But they're
Well,
strapping.
if you pay the money, you're seeing it.
You want to tear it all off and pay $15,000. You're not going to have ponding water because we're going to repitch your roof.
Sure.
It's just, it's pros
if
and cons.
you really want to get under the hood and spend the money up front.
And we give your warranty to every person that buys a house from us, right?
Yeah, so
it has your
my
number on
warranties
there.
are one-time transferable.
Oh, nice.
So all his properties, he's flipping that. He's selling that house to somebody. So when I send him an invoice, I actually leave the contract name blank for you.
Yeah.
Because we put the new homeowner stuff right in there.
Oh, that's awesome.
This way, he's handing it right over. If there's any issues, they're going to call directly.
That's a great benefit.
But this is what people don't realize. On the bottom of it, in bold, it says you have to hire us to maintain the roof at least every 2 years.
Yeah.
And then people will call me in 5 years like, oh, I got a little leak.
I got a leak. They're calling him 5 years later.
And I'm like, well, call the roofer, but here, did you have them out there to maintain your flat roof? What do you mean? Like, well, do you maintain your HVAC? What do you mean? I'm like, come on. Like,
a lot of that falls on us too in my office. We got to get better at that.
Doing follow-up systems.
We got files and files in like 2020, 2021.
Yeah.
Them follow-up calls should have happened, but knock on wood, we've been super busy and haven't been chasing after that stuff.
Well, speaking of, as we kind of wrap up here, where can our viewers find you, our investors find you? Like, what's the website, email address, phone number? We'll throw it up on the screen
Website, www.nefgeneralcontracting.com.
Okay.
We're on Instagram, nefroofing.com. Justin changed it, so
Yeah.
I don't
We'll throw up the proper
NEF
one
Roofing's
right
on
up
there.
there. Yep.
And then R&N, if you have any union stuff, Richie and Kevin and Jay in the office can take care of that side. But But I appreciate you guys having me on. And
Yeah, it's
Now,
awesome to hear about it.
One more question
Yeah.
for you. Now that you got the baby and all now, but
I love it, man.
I know it's hard, but what are you doing to maintain your physical and mental health? Is there anything that you're doing? Like, is there any activities that you do? Any gym work that you do? Like, what are you doing to maintain that?
I go to therapy.
Yeah.
I go to therapy.
What about golf? You're a big golfer. I know that.
For me, honestly, golf is therapy.
Another form of therapy. I
People hate
completely
golf.
agree.
People don't
they
like
do.
it,
He
but-
hates it.
I hate
It's
it.
just
boring.
But you go out,
not,
you
it's
go out on
but
a
it's
golf course.
therapy,
You
though.
go out on a golf course, you see a ton of people that are like, I mean, I'm even witness to it. I mean, I've thrown a club before, but
Sure.
like, we're not working. We're out on the golf course. What are
Yeah.
we doing? What am I doing here? Why am I throwing a club? But golf is therapy for me. It really is.
Dude,
golf,
and you
fishing.
do in-person therapy, which we
Yeah.
should have touched on earlier.
Yeah, I
that
do.
is,
Yeah.
Because that's
I think every business ownership.
Oh, I totally agree.
I think every business ownership.
A lot of people don't want to talk about that, especially men. There's like this stigma on it.
Well, the
Like,
problem is men
it's
just like to hold their emotions in and because we're men and we're just that's
Yeah.
just the way we are. We hold the weight of the world on our shoulders and we try to protect our families from it and we kind of bear it all, but you got to get it out.
No, I mean, that stuff's great to hear. It's
Yeah,
like you work in the roofing side of things. You would never think a guy that works in that space would ever sit down and talk to a therapist.
Therapy,
But
yeah.
it's great, right?
Therapy's
I
good.
think all real estate people should do it as well. Mortgage guys, real estate people. It's, it's a good thing because if you don't have that outlet, you know where it goes. It's the drink, it's the drugs, it's the buy, it's
I mean,
whatever.
growing up in Kensington, growing up in any parts
shit,
of Philadelphia,
I mean-
like, you're going to have like childhood traumas. Like you've seen stuff that you don't even realize.
Yeah, I mean, it's growing up in that neighborhood was, that was rough, but
Gift and a curse.
throw it.
Yeah.
I mean, I've probably been to 50 funerals. I mean, it's that the drugs got a lot of people, man.
Oh, the opiate epidemic.
A lot of guys that got out of the neighborhood made it. It's a shame.
Well, look, I mean, you're a living testament to it, dude. So therapy, stay on the right, to the straight and narrow. We're looking forward to spreading the good word about your company.
Appreciate it, guys.
Yeah,
Appreciate
because it's really nice to meet you. I know Nick and you have worked together for a while. But
Yeah, was it 5-6 years now? 5?
At least.
Has to be.
At
so,
least.
and what we'll do is on our end,
He refers me to like people hit him up like, yo, he's like, yeah, call this guy.
we get it all the time. I mean, from the lending side, it's always.
This is what people don't realize. Like what I do is I'll screenshot like a conversation and send it to him right away, just so he knows if anybody's calling. Because then if somebody calls him, because the other thing he'll do is anybody I work with, this guy called me, say he's a friend of yours. I don't know that fucking guy. I didn't give him your fucking number. I don't fucking know him. Like that happens. Like especially like with the podcast stuff, and social media stuff.
Yeah,
people do that.
He
shit.
does. He screenshots me. He's like, oh, this guy
guy's
hit me
gonna
up. He's like, I didn't even have a conversation. I'm just sending him your stuff.
Yeah.
Well, look, we'll throw it up there on there. We really appreciate you coming out, NEF Roofing.
Sorry, I didn't
dude.
bring any T-shirts for you boys.
No, it's all right. You just bring them up next time. We'll
Yeah,
throw
that's
some
all.
Nah, I'll
swag.
get
and
you
then
down
we'll go-
Stone Harbor.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Stone
All right,
Harbor.
Nick, well, it was awesome having you on for Nick Cessna, Ryan Dolan, another episode of the Atomic Real Estate Show. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you.
If you enjoyed our episode, please consider supporting the show by rating and reviewing the podcast. Also, check us out on Instagram at Atomic Real Estate Show to find out when new shows drop and to participate in our community Q&As. The Atomic Real Estate Show was brought to you by Direct Subs. Direct Subs is the #1 place for real estate investors to connect with local contractors for their flips, rentals, renovations, and new construction projects.